Hello, Matt, everybody. Welcome to the pregame show. We're just talking about D&D and avocados, as you do.
Etymology.
Yeah.
And content. I listened to a podcast where they have a running joke about how much they hate the word content. They're like, well, it's not content. It's more. Don't be reductive. But anyway.
Well, I mean, part of it is, respecting the stuff that you create. Just dismissing it as content sounds dismissive, if you're telling a story or you're presenting entertainment, then is that really just content, or do you want something more elevated?
Like talking about how the word for avocado comes from the Nahuatl word for testicle.
Exactly.
That's elevated.
That is a good point.
Well, it's also commodifying everything.
Yeah.
Now you can't have a hobby, you have a side hustle, and you don't have a podcast with conversations, you have a podcast with content.
Right.
Yeah, that does make it seem dirty.
It makes for funny ad reads, though, because one of the ads for that podcast that they have is for some streaming platform. And so, part of the text that they gave them was something about, you can see streaming content. And so every time the host does the ad read, he's like, you can see streaming content. Wow. Not like that, but he's avoiding saying the word.
Rhiannon, we're gonna have to do a little mic check on you.
Oh, am I too loud?
A little staticky.
Oh, okay.
Come here, puppy. Come here.
Your shirt's adorable, though.
She's too shy.
It keeps coming, the strings keep. I think they're staying where they're staying right now. But nice. So, what am I doing with my mic, Yang Yang? Going to a different USB port, or?
You can try that. You generally sound fine right now. It's just when you were talking
okay.
before, it just gave you some static. You can also work on it between the break and the stream, or the hangout and the stream. I see people are trying out the picture summoner. Excellent.
Oh, they go up in the corner. Oh, I've been staring at the chat going, oh no, it's not working anymore. None of them are popping up.
Oh yeah.
Got it.
So hopefully, this will allow chat to show some reactions to what we do during the stream. And
Is this the one I think it is?
Is it?
Apparently I'm not allowed to do it. It didn't work.
Oh really?
There it is. Yes.
There's always a little
I'm
delay.
still stuck in the Twitch ad.
I feel like I always have a significant delay. But that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm paying attention to this. What do people want to talk about?
Okay.
Everybody venturing out of their homes now that we're starting to be vaccinated?
Actually, in Eastern Washington, in a little Airbnb right now.
Is that what that background is?
No, this is the actual background. I'm in a recliner because there is no desk in this place.
Oh,
lucky you.
Oh.
Yeah. But I'll just go back to this spot.
Nice.
This sort of seems kind of like the inside of the ring.
Yeah, I like that.
yeah.
Keep that one.
Touches of gold.
Okay.
So I have this thing where often on Hangouts I explain the geeky shirt that I'm wearing. So I'll explain this one. You see, it's a Frogger game, but there's also a chicken, and the chicken and the Frogger are going to compete to get across the road. Yeah.
Oh, funny.
That's pretty great, actually. I like that.
I'm a fan.
Yep.
So this is my geeky shirt. It has a hammer on it. Yeah.
Is that a joke I don't get, or is it just
Get
a
it?
stylish hammer?
I mean, it's totally, you don't get it.
Is it from Dr. Horrible, or?
No, it's actually there's a dude somewhere in Eastern Washington named Thomas Hammer, who is a coffee guy. Thomas Hammer Coffee, and friend of mine.
This is a geeky story.
It's not really. It's a coffee geek.
He's a coffee geek from the sound of things. He has a shirt with a hammer on it to tell people.
There are many ways
coffee.
to be a geek. One of them is apparently to be a coffee hammer geek.
Absolutely.
And Rogar's got one of those Love Hammer shirts on, which you can
nice,
buy
Steven.
in our shop, right?
It's true. Yes, you
We
can.
have merch. People can buy merch. I'm just saying, you can buy merch. I'm not saying that because we make money on you buying merch. I mean,
At some
I guess
point
we
we'll.
do. That's
Yeah.
not really the point, though. The point is that it's just really fun. So,
I mean, we've been testing out like some merch. We have a merch store that's set up somewhere, and
Saw a class on like how to design and source production and market enamel pins, and I got all excited. Like I need another thing to do right now, but still, I like the idea of us having enamel pins. I think they're fun, and I think they're a thing that people buy too many of. At least I do.
You buy enamel pins? What do you do with them?
I put them on my cool jackets for when I go to cons. I tend to wear like a jacket or a blazer because of the air conditioning. It's usually awful. So yeah, I put cool enamel pins on them.
I've seen people who do messenger bags because you can get like the whole side of the messenger bag all with the pins. And then I've also seen like pin boards.
Yeah, that's the other one.
And those, you obviously wouldn't be like carrying them around con, but you'd be displaying them in your place. So
back before the pandemic, we went to, and like another year before that, we went to Disneyland, which I have never in my life done before. And I was surprised at how much I enjoyed. But they have a thing with like, they have enamel pins and they have they're collectible and you can like swap with the people that work there. And there will be people just like sitting on a bench somewhere with all their pins, like looking for trades.
Wow.
It was a strange thing I didn't expect to see.
That's kind
But yeah, people like enamel pins if they're nice looking.
awesome.
I remember when I was a waiter at a place called Jake O'Shaughnessy's way back. Some of you might remember it. We had uniforms, and that was something we could do.
You had flair.
Enamel
Flair.
Yes, exactly. All over the apron. It was mostly beer pins, actually, now that I think of it, like Red Hook and Thomas Kemper and all those. I don't think Thomas Kemper exists anymore. It was a weird beer with a yeasty flavor that was its signature. It was.
Doesn't Thomas Kemper make root beer?
Yeah,
and like
also
other
do.
sodas, orange soda.
They also make actual beer too.
they used to.
Maybe they
I
tried
think
it
they
and
made-
went, no.
Yeah, that is some yeasty shit.
I used to really drink a lot of root beer when I was younger, and Thomas Kemper was one of the ones I really liked.
I knew somebody who worked in a root beer store, like an entire store just of different root beers. And I'm very sad that she had to, I think the store went under, or maybe she left and then it went under. Anyway, it was not well run.
Remember where I don't know. Maybe it's a different store. There used to be one out kind of by my house.
Yeah,
I've never been in it.
Yeah, it's probably because she lived on the east side of.
I was gonna say it's the same one, or there's two, and the competition drove hers out of business.
Well, she had some stories about how it was not well run, so
yeah,
I think they did it to themselves, whichever one of the one or two this was. Anyway, she had all these different kinds that she would have at parties for a couple years after, and I think she's finally using them up. But I was like, oh, dang it.
I love the they have a beer festival on Father's Day out here. I'm very curious if they're going to run it this year. But we always go, and the kids tent, they have a root beer tent, so the different brewers will make root beers and also other sodas. But it's interesting to try them because there is such a you can change up the flavorings, and so you'll have one that's got like kind of a spearminty taste, and then you've got one that's very caramelly, and it's almost as much fun as tasting the beer.
There's a teacher at my school who every day or every last day of school gets a root beer keg.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
pretty funny.
Nice.
I love root beer.
Kids come by and check it
Yeah,
out.
that's the Father's Day one sounds more enjoyable because I went with friends. I hate beer, and I went with friends to Oktoberfest in Fremont because they're like, oh, they have ciders. So I think like in the entirety of the Fremont Oktoberfest, there were like 3 ciders.
Oh, that's not.
I went and I got because you have the little thing and you get that much of each kind to try it. And I went and got all 3, and then I was like, well,
Yes, I'm done. I feel like it's the Wobble, the Washington Association of Beer Lovers festival. I feel like they have a pretty good cider showing, and it's at Marymore, which is a big park out here. It's rather close to my house, so it's very easy. I used to do it up at St. Edmund's Park up in Kenmore, which was you had to like park off site and ride a school bus.
Okay.
I've been to that festival once. That was pretty fun.
You like it?
Mm-hmm.
It's family friendly, so the kids area has lots of inflatables and the root beer thing, and there's like bands. I never go listen to the bands because that's not really my thing. But
what happens when a kid like drinks a quart of root beer and then goes into the bouncy castle?
You know, I have never seen
the bouncy castle gets closed down
there, but
that could be really bad.
Oh man, I have this certain thought that always comes into my head when people mention Oktoberfest, which is that my parents are big fans of Oktoberfest. You know how I know this?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think I've seen you post about this.
My brother and I were both born in July.
I
posted that on Facebook and I said, hey, my brother's birthday is July 11 and my birthday is July 18. My parents must have really liked Halloween. And then my mom posts on that and she replies, Oktoberfest. And I'm like,
Mom.
thanks, Mom. I really needed to know that.
Oh, your mom was great.
Yeah.
Oh.
She's pretty
Just
great.
looks you straight in the eye. Unflinching.
So, yeah.
All this talk about beer is making me wish that I had some.
I'm sorry.
Ooh.
Too bad you're not here at my place. I have a whole small fridge full of beer.
Well, so here's the thing. There's this saloon.
And Gentleman Jack, not a sponsor.
There's this saloon 1 block away. I could run over there, pound a fresh beer at the bar, and be back in time for the start.
Yeah, but you're not going to.
No, really?
I mean,
feel like
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of want to time him and see if he can do it.
No.
They would like predict your processing system would be down or something. You know it would be.
I think you're misunderstanding me. I'm saying you're not going to do it now. You're going to wait until it's 6:28, and then you're going to go do it.
Why
Perfect
would you
time.
say such a
Like,
thing?
what?
Okay.
We have 2 minutes. So I'm going to go get a beer and then go to the bathroom.
All right.
We are what we are.
All right.
Time me.
Use your bonus action to dash.
6:13.
Oh my
Goodbye,
God.
Steven. All right, viewers.
Oh, dog cam.
Glance at your
Dog
cam?
cam?
Right now.
Dog cam.
Oh, dog cam.
Oh, Bruno.
Oh,
So that's
what a good Muppet.
that's Bruno. Bruno,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Bruno.
Steven's
Hey.
dog.
Steven,
Who's
go.
dog.
Bruno
You're
now.
burning
so-
time, Steven.
Yeah, I brought him with me, and I kind of feel like I feel sad now. He looks so down. I think.
Go get your beer, Steven. We're timing you. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, Bruno. Are you ready? You ready to play Sturge?
Bruno.
Bruno. Hey,
Oh, you're confusing. What?
who's a good boy, Bruno? Who's a good boy? You're a good boy. You knew that. Anyway.
So Champions of Lore moved to
Ooh.
Wednesday mornings, and it has completely messed up my brain.
Yeah.
Your Wednesday is pretty full now,
My
isn't it?
Wednesday is a nightmare. Yep. Don't ask for anything from me on Wednesday. But today was a little easier because my son has therapy, 2 therapies on Wednesday, and I showed up for the first one on Zoom, and I was like, where is she? Where is she? And then I was like, wait, shit, she's on vacation this week. So that meant I could do all the I posted this gigantic Twitter thread of Mahen's gear, which I needed to do today. And I got to do that this morning instead of trying to do it very quickly after my lunch, so that people have time to look at it.
Everyone, check out Erin's Twitter thread. It's apparently the longest Twitter thread she has ever posted.
Also, this is the first time I posted it that they had the option for alt text. So I put alt text on all of that art, all of those art assets, which was more typing. And the last time I did one of these I think for Havilar, it crashed in the middle, and so I took screenshots and retyped it, and so I was so scared it was going to happen again because this one was a little longer. So yes, that's the thing I'm happiest about. I posted that giant ass Twitter thread, and it didn't crash my computer, even though
that's an accomplishment.
Prep by typing it in Word first, just in case.
Nice.
It's nice that they're making alt text easier.
Yeah.
Of course, I have to do it as part of the day job, or I often don't do it, but I have to teach other people how to do it, which really gets you intimately familiar of everywhere people can go wrong. So that people, now that it's popping up as an option, they're like, this is why, and this is how, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yup. Because getting scientists, like the thing about alt text in a scientific report is like there's this graph, and the graph is like, so I look at it and I'm like, it's graph. And what you need is the original scientist to be like, this graph is showing that in the winter months there's more noise, and in the summer months there's less, or something that actually like is why they bothered to have this graph. But it's pulling teeth because they'll just be like, graph.
Look at it like, that's the problem.
So for those of you who have been playing D&D, who know what D&D is, because if you don't know what D&D is, I'm not sure why you're watching our stream.
Welcome to our stream. We will teach you.
Ravenloft just came out, and it is pretty awesome.
I'm so excited about the morning rail. That's cool. Do you want to talk about it?
No, you should talk about it.
Well, I was just going to say that this is for Ravenloft, and they've listed a bunch of the domains of dread, right? Which is sort of like little mini settings for your horror game. One of them is Eberron themed, and in Eberron, you are living in a world that is in the aftermath of a war that involved like all 5 nations and more. And one of the features of it is that there's this place in the middle called the Mournland that used to be the Kingdom of Sire. But something happened on the day they now call the morning, and it basically wiped Sire off the map, and now you don't go there because that's the Mournland. So this domain of dread is the last train out of Sire. The I think it's like 1313, and it's the day of the morning, and they don't know they didn't actually make it out. So I'm like, you found the coolest horror movie for everyone. It's a haunted train.
That is rad, and it totally gives me Final Fantasy VI vibes. Love it.
Yes. If that ever shows up in my game, you can expect Stong to try and suplex that train. I'm just saying.
Oh my god, yes! My childhood dreams.
But seriously, that is such a great idea, and this book is just full of really great ideas. I highly encourage people to check it out.
It's all horror stuff, and Eric's saying it's great ideas. He's getting inspired for the future.
Yeah, there might be a few things that have been incorporated from this book into our game.
Nice.
Don't worry about it.
So God, like, what do we do if he says that? We're not going to not worry about it. We're going to worry more.
We're going to worry.
Sure.
There's no answer, though.
It's all part of his game, though. It's all part of his game. The meta game of the DM.
Look. Like, the Dampier is a thing that you can just stack on top of your race if you want to become a vampire.
Yeah, they have really interesting mechanics, actually. I think we sort of underplayed this the last time we were talking about it. But like, there's some really interesting design decisions that are going into this book that I think are like worth highlighting. One is the fact that like the Dampier gives you a natural weapon that uses like a con modifier for attack and damage. Yeah, like I'm not aware of any other ability that lets you use like your Constitution to do attack and damage. And they kind of so I think like all the stats are covered now. But the one that I think is really interesting is that the Hag Blood or the Hex Blood.
Hex Blood.
Yeah, you count as a Fae. Like, you're no longer a humanoid, you're a Fae. So there are only like 2 races, I believe, in all of D&D 5th edition that are not humanoids. One is the Centaur, and now the Hex Blood. And both of them are Fae. And it has some interesting like mechanical role play implications more so than mechanical combat. Like as a Fae, you can be affected by things such as like magic circle. You could be like affected by any sort of like protection from area spells like hollow. And you can no longer be targeted by things that would turn you into like an undead zombie or something, or like hold humanoid, etc. But for all intents and purposes, like paladins and clerics have so much more power over you. So as like a supernatural investigator, if you are like playing a character who's like investigating the supernatural and you're partnering with like a cleric or a paladin and you're like checking out, you know, these areas, and they happen to cast a spell, like they might affect you. The jig might be up if you're trying to hide the fact that you're a supernatural creature from them, or they can inadvertently like catch you in the crossfire, which I think is rad.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's also this, the Reborn. Now the Reborn is, well, all of the races' lineages is what they're called. They're sort of, you can either take one and play it as basically your character's, you know, elf, human, etc. You can be a Dampier, you could be a Hex Blood or a Reborn, or you can level it on, you can layer it on top of your existing race. The Reborn is the kind of like pseudo undead version of your character. So I like the descriptors of what you are like, and I'll just read you a couple of them because they're great. You were magically resurrected, but something went wrong. You awoke in an abandoned laboratory alongside complex designs for clockwork organs. You were released after being petrified for generations. Your memories have faded, though, and your body isn't what it once was. And then maybe my favorite is...
I feel like that's the description of the pandemic.
In public, in public, you pass as an unremarkable individual, but you can feel the itchy straw stuffing inside you.
That is neat.
So...
Oh.
If I only had a brain.
I do want to point out that D&D Beyond has not fully integrated the whole lineages concept. Like if you have a pre-existing race, it's kind of, I wasn't able to layer a lineage on top of it. That doesn't mean that it won't happen. It just hasn't happened yet. I mean, I'm not saying that, you know, I did that, right? Like I tried that.
For reasons.
But I'm not saying that either. So it's good. I'm excited. I was a big Ravenloft fan when I was a kid, and I like seeing the modern version of it. So,
do you have a favorite Dread domain from the originals?
Oh man, that's a good question. There were several that I really liked. Obviously, Barovia is pretty great, but that's just kind of the classic standard that you expect everyone to go with.
One has the most love put into it, so of course
Right.
people like it.
Exactly. That's like saying, "What's your favorite city in the Forgotten Realms?" Waterdeep. Oh,
Yeah, well, also vampires.
or
How do you
Baldur's
not love
Gate.
that?
Okay. I recall really liking Mordant a lot. I recall really liking Lamordia a lot.
I like the Lamordia revision.
Which one's
This
Lamordia?
one, Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Frankenstein. Which is the one
And,
with the hunter.
It's got more going on than that, but that's the shorthand. Frankenstein.
And you know, I really liked Scythicus too. I thought there was some really neat
What's that one?
connection. That's the Lord Soth domain. I thought there was some really neat connection with some of my friends when I was growing up were really big Dragonlance people. So that was fun to run
So you're like,
adventures
look,
in that place.
Dragonlance, but creepy.
Yeah. Dragonlance, but the part of Dragonlance everyone likes.
So as soon as you pulled out that book, it reminded me that I had a dream that involved Strahd and you in the game, and I was trying to remember it, and all I can remember, I think it had something to do with that Strahd showed up, ended up being Lilton's boyfriend, and
I ship it.
Keep going.
Yeah.
I'm taking notes. Keep going.
No, because Strahd would kill him.
well, but then, and that, you know, he
Like
was really,
Tatiana, this time you're even more beautiful.
And
It's
I mean,
cryptic.
Lilton would go for it. Lilton would be like, "Yep, I'm just going to make my hair darker."
But it never works. That's the point.
right.
Let's see how long I can play this out.
Yeah.
Both of their dread domains in one.
Hey, have you considered that Westgate might be Lilton's dread domain? Anyway.
I feel like Lilton is Cecilia's dread domain.
Maybe
I think there's a line. I think the line for that dread domain claim is pretty long.
Maybe the Endless Winter is the Heart of the Piercings dread domain.
What isn't a dread domain?
Oh, no, right?
Maybe the Ringworld is Artemisia's dread
Oh,
domain. Dun dun dun. We'll see. They are going to go to the Ringworld though, and I prepared a map, so look forward
And
to that.
I have been thinking of other stuff that could be in there too.
Excellent.
But
So with
it may
that,
not come up.
you know,
Steven's
we're
not back yet, huh?
Place your bets. Is Steven gonna be back by the time we start?
Yep.
Is he gonna be a little drunk?
I hope so.
So we'll be back in 4 minutes. In the meantime, here is the recap.
Don't go.
For I have no mouth, but I must scream.
What are you even talking about? You have like 12 mouths, and none of them are in the right place. It's not often that I feel like I need a shower after an adventure like that. So, we left off with me in a very bad spot, and Rogar in an arguably worse spot. See, I did the foolish thing, and shadow danced into a cave by myself, without waiting for Rogar or Ruan to show up, and now when Rogar found me, I was berserk and hungry, and that's not good for anybody. So after trying to eat Rogar and successfully stabbing Ruan, all it took was a nice blow to the head and maybe a little divine curse-breaking magic to knock me back to my senses. We realized that something in the cave that I'd touched, some black sludge, had driven me berserk, and it quickly after that made me fairly sick. I staggered out of the cave, found a place to lose my cookies, so to speak, and following that, something ripped itself free. Which is never something you really want to hear, is it? Something ripped itself free from your shadow? Of course, it took me a little bit longer than Rogar to realize what was happening, but when I did, I attacked it just like he did. I was back to my senses, so there wasn't any reason for me not to. Luckily, Rogar had done the smart thing and asked for Ruan, who was still a bit injured, to send the sparrow he'd conjured to go get the rest of the irregulars, since Cecilia at least could speak to animals when she so chose. And so the irregulars arrived to fight the giant nightmare monster that was a big spider elf necro thing. And it just so happened that for whatever reason the sparrow knew that the cave was called the Cave of the Beast Lord, which would have been nice to know at the time. So, I hear you say, that's when the irregulars proceeded to defeat the evil beast. Not right away. No, this was when the beast proceeded to beat the ever-loving snot out of the irregulars for a bit. It wasn't until partway through the fight and a couple of people getting impaled that I made some kind of connection with it and realized that it was me, kind of. Part of me. It was my fear, my guilt, my despair, all of it made manifest. And it wanted to replace me. I don't think I could have beaten it without the irregulars' help. And I don't like to think about what would have happened if it had beaten me. Luckily, though, we took it down. and it dissolved into so much black goo and crystal? That was weird. From there, I'd had a lot taken out of me, and the irregulars wanted to interrogate Fane, and I had no desire